Good morning, Wright State University, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU. Start your day the right way with us. We will be covering current events in the news, local, national, and from Wright State. We will provide a daily dose of inspiration and positivity to lighten your day. And we will have a special feature depending on the day of the week. So grab your tea or your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Wright Morning Show. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU Radio for Wednesday, October 13th, 2021. This morning I have with me Harmony on the phone line. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, doing really good. What's up?
Not much. And I also have the Laughing Chipmunk joined on Discord. How are you doing this morning, Laughing Chipmunk?
I'm tired, but I'm okay.
I'm trying to get used to this mask I'm wearing. So this new mask that I got, it has a design on it. I feel like they put the design upside down, though, just based off of the way this mask is designed.
Interesting. I know I wear one of my masks upside down because it works out a lot better because it keeps flying off because I got little elf ears.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that interesting note for the morning, let's get into your current events for today. From WHIO, COVID-19 shots are available at drive-thru clinic in Fairborn today. Residents of Greene County can get a COVID-19 shot today in Fairborn. Greene County Public Health is hosting a drive-thru clinic today. It already started. It started 3 minutes ago. Anyone can go to Fairborn Fire Station 2 on Commerce Center Boulevard to get a shot from now until 4 p.m. During the clinic, Public Health is offering first and second doses of both Moderna and Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines. A third dose of Pfizer will also be available for anyone who qualifies for the booster. If you plan to attend the drive-thru clinic, organizers ask that you enter Commerce Center Boulevard from Trebbian Road. Anyone interested in attending must schedule an appointment at gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov. From WHIO, John Legend, Mike DeWine are among the inductees into the Dayton Area Walk of Fame. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and John Legend were among 5 people inducted in the Dayton Area Walk of Fame yesterday. Ronald Steffens, John Legend's father, spoke with News Center 7 just before he accepted his son's induction award. It's a wonderful feeling to have this opportunity. John has been very gracious in sharing his gift and talent, Steffens said. The awards, delayed a year because of COVID, were handed out Tuesday afternoon in a ceremony emceed by News Center 7 anchor James Brown. You can read more at WHIO. Dayton Daily News says that a Kettering teen died after falling from a boat during rowing practice.
Oh, God.
You can read more about that at Dayton Daily News. Dayton Business Journal says that Fifth Third is closing 5 Dayton branches as it shakes up the national footprint. You can check that out at Dayton Business Journal. Dayton Daily News has an article on a Centerville student who buys toys for Dayton and Cincy Children hospitals with a $3,000 prize. You can check that out at Dayton Daily News. Springfield News Song has an article on green space at elementary becoming polarizing topic in Yellow Springs. You can check that out at Springfield News Song. A lot of these sources have a paywall, unfortunately, so I cannot cover them on the show. Dayton Daily News has an article also about the Walk of Fame. From WHIO, Dayton police are asking for help locating an aggravated burglary suspect.
Oof.
The Dayton Police Department is asking for the public's help locating a man suspected to be involved in a recent aggravated burglary. Police say the man is one of 3 suspects involved in an aggravated burglary that took place on Fez Lane Friday, October 8th around 3:45 in the morning. All 3 people appeared to be armed, and the other 2 suspects had their faces covered, according to police. I hope they were covered with a mask. At least they're protected from COVID. Anyone
so
who
aggravated you're going to burglarize somebody. I'm so mad at you, I'm going to steal your crap. Yeah, funny.
Anyone who recognizes the man or has information that can help police is asked to call 937-333-COPS. That's 2677. Or MV Crime Stoppers at 937-222-STOP. That's 222-7867. You can look at a picture of the suspect that they are looking for by going to the Dayton Police Department Twitter account or to WHIO.com.
Okay, since when do police departments have Twitter? Oh my God, what's the world come to?
There's a lot of police departments that have Twitter, to be honest.
That's crazy. That is just ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I mean, it gets information out there, especially if you're looking for suspects of armed burglaries.
True.
I mean, that's useful. I mean, when they start posting opinions, that's when it gets very iffy.
Yeah, choppy. Yeah.
Dayton Daily News has an article about Kettering's plan for restaurants, housing, and business parks, which are drawing concerns. So you can check that out. From Dayton.com, and we covered this on yesterday's show as well. On Thursday, October 14th, the city of Dayton will be unveiling a new name for a street downtown to honor its funk music heritage. Stone Street will now be named Land of Funk Way. This new name honors Dayton's legacy as the home of the world's top funk bands of the 1970s and 1980s. The new street name will also pair nicely with the Land of Funk mural, a tribute to Dayton funk bands like Ohio Players, Zapp and Roger, Lakeside, Slave, Phazo, Sun, and Heatwave, created by artist Morris Howard in 2018. The mural is located behind the Neon. The Land of Funk Way designation ceremony will be held at the Land of Funk mural at 4 p.m. And if you enjoy funk music, especially Dayton funk music, you should check out David Webb's show, the Dayton Scene Radio Show, which will be airing today from 4 to 6 p.m. and every Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. Springfield News Song has an article about layoffs, which are continuing, the combining of 7-Eleven and Speedway at headquarters in Enon. Check that out. From WHIO, there's an update on a man arrested on murder charge connected to deadly shooting of a woman in Dayton. Police have arrested a man on a preliminary charge of murder stemming from the deadly shooting of a woman in Dayton on Monday. Ricky Renardo Hill, 44, was arrested around 5 p.m. That's an interesting name. On Watervliet Avenue near Wayne Avenue, according to a Dayton Police incident report. Hill is accused of shooting Faith Guffey, 25, on Cahoe Street in Dayton around 11:30 in the morning. Guffey was transported to an area hospital but later died from her injuries. Dayton Police Lieutenant Jason Hall said in an email statement to News Center 7. On Monday night, Hall said police had identified a person of interest in the shooting, but officers declined to release details of that person of interest. Additional details were not yet available. You can read all of the updates about this story from WHIO. From WYSO, free mobile farmers market helping address food insecurity in Yellow Springs. Since May of this year, the Dayton Food Bank has been holding a free monthly farmers market at First Baptist Church in Yellow Springs. It's a new effort that comes after food banks identified Yellow Springs as an underserved area for households experiencing food insecurity. So every third Thursday of the month, Katie Heinkel helps set up and manage the farmers market at Yellow Springs at First Baptist Church on Dayton Street, which, by the way, the third Thursday will be October 21st if you want to go to that. So she and volunteers for the Dayton Food Bank give out fresh produce, baked goods, and frozen foods to anyone that might need it. Much of the food is donated to the food bank or rescued from grocery stores by volunteers. It's all part of the food bank's mobile pantry, which also has other locations in Greene, Preble, and Montgomery counties. You can read more at wyso.org. We are... Oh, hang on. I'm going to cover this one. This one's pretty interesting. This one's from Dayton.com. Cash prizes at stake in Dayton's 16th annual Gingerbread Homes contest.
Nice.
The area's most creative confectionery decorators are being sought to compete for a $500 cash prize. Downtown Dayton Partnership has put out the call for participants in the 16th annual Gingerbread Homes for the Holidays contest, which will be Friday, November 26th, where entries will be voted on by the public during the Grande Illumination event from 4 to 8 p.m.
Would that be Gingerama?
Gingerama.
The new Homerama.
Oh my gosh. All right. We're now going to get into your local weather forecast for the Dayton and Fairborn area. The current weather at Wright State University is light fog, otherwise sunny, with a temperature of 53 degrees. The wind is calm right now. The dew point is 50 degrees, relative humidity 93%. Visibility is 1 mile, so be careful when you're on the roadways this morning. There is not a dense fog advisory in effect, though, so it's not dense enough for an advisory, but you should still be cautious on the roadways right now. The 12-hour hyperlocal forecast calls for fog up until 10 a.m., and then it will clear up to, we're going to get a little bit of sunshine for the first half of the day, and then it's going to become cloudy after 2 p.m. Temperatures are going to reach 60 degrees at 11 a.m., and then peak at 76 degrees around 4 p.m. before starting to cool off for the day. Here's your extended weather forecast from National Weather Service at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Today, patchy fog in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny, high in the mid-70s. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low in the mid-60s. Thursday, partly sunny, high in the mid-80s. Thursday night, mostly cloudy in the evening with a slight chance of showers developing overnight, low in the mid-60s. Friday, a slight chance of showers in the morning with a chance of thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, high in the upper 70s. Friday night, showers, low in the mid-50s. Low around 50. It's going to be a cool one Friday night. Saturday, a chance of showers in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny, high in the mid-60s, much cooler on Saturday. Saturday night, mostly clear, low in the lower 40s. Get your furnace going on Saturday night.
Nice.
And finally, Sunday, sunny, high in the mid-60s. So yeah, this is a good opportunity to go and change your filters for your furnace because you might need it on Saturday night. All right, we're going to go to global and national news now. First off, the New York Times. Headlines by the New York Times. So they are covering anti-Trump versus anti-woke culture. I'm not going to get into that, but I am going to read off some of the other headlines for the New York Times today. Disparities in vaccines and healthcare are expanding the world's wealth gap, the IMF warned. The U.S. is reopening its borders with Canada and Mexico for fully vaccinated travelers. COVID was the most common cause of recently duty-related deaths among U.S. police officers. Even so, police unions are fighting vaccine mandates. The Brooklyn Nets barred Kyrie Irving from all games until he is vaccinated. The FDA authorized 3 vaping products, saying their benefits of helping people quit cigarettes outweigh the risks of hooking young people. Doctors should no longer routinely prescribe low-dose aspirin as a preventative measure, an expert panel said. And honestly, the World Health Organization and the FDA have been telling people not to take ibuprofen or aspirin during the COVID pandemic because it masks the symptoms of COVID. So only take aspirin and ibuprofen if you absolutely need it. The novelist Sally Rooney declined to sell translation rights to an Israeli publisher, citing her support for Palestinians. Oof. The House passed a short-term bill to lift the debt limit, temporarily averting a default. Meteorologists think that they know what went boom over New Hampshire on Sunday. There's an article about that in the New York Times. I'm hoping Cheddar News Need to Know has a little paraphrase, but we'll check that out here. Speaking of, let's go to Cheddar News and Need to Know now. From the Associated Press, a record 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in August, according to a new Labor Department data. About 4 million people have been quitting every month since the spring, in a trend that's being called the Great Resignation. Nearly a quarter of those who resigned in August worked in the hospitality industry. It's not just restaurant and hotel workers putting in their notice. A recent Harris poll found that 50% of working Americans are looking to make career changes because of the pandemic, with the majority saying they're in search of more flexible jobs. Also from the Associated Press, the White House is expected to announce today that it will reopen the land borders with Mexico and Canada next month, allowing non-essential travel between the U.S. and its neighbors for the first time in 19 months, but only for fully vaccinated travelers. The easing of the land border restrictions will coincide with the reopening of international air travel, meaning the country will more or less be fully open for business come November. From USA Today, the coroner in the Gabby Petito case announced that Petito died by strangulation and was left outside in the wilderness for 3 to 4 weeks before her body was discovered on September 19th. Yeah. Authorities also confirmed that they lifted DNA samples from her body, which could be pertinent in the ongoing search for her killer. From NPR, people 60 and over should no longer take daily low-dose aspirin to prevent a first heart attack or stroke, according to a government-backed panel of experts. U.S. Preventative Task Force Let's try that again. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force has revised its past recommendation, now saying that whatever benefit aspirin serves in preventing a cardiovascular event in otherwise heart-healthy older people is outweighed by the risk of internal bleeding, which increases with age. Tens of millions of people take baby aspirin to prevent heart disease, which remains the leading cause of death in America.
Good.
We accidentally lost Harmony there. Think she might have accidentally hit the hang-up button on her phone.
Oops.
From Bloomberg, the International Monetary Fund is growing less optimistic about the global economy's ability to grow in the short term due to supply chain disruptions, inflation, and the persistent threat of COVID. The central bank also warned about the possibility of sudden and steep declines in stocks and home prices. There she is. Hey, Harmony, did you accidentally hang yourself up?
Pot and it hung me up.
Plugged in the hot coffee pot and hung her up. Oops. So, as the Fed prepares to start unwinding the support it's been giving the financial market since the start of the pandemic. From USA Today, the FDA has approved the sale of a vaping product for the first time. The authorization applies only to the Vuse Solo brand e-cigarette and its tobacco-flavored nicotine cartridges, made by tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds. The agency said that the benefits in helping cigarette smokers quit outweighed the risk of hooking kids. From ESPN, Houston and Atlanta have both advanced to the next round of the MLB playoffs. The Astros steamrolled the White Sox to punch their ticket to a rematch of the 2018 ALCS against the Red Sox. In the National League, the Braves top the Brewers to advance the NLCS, where they will meet either the Dodgers or the Giants. These rivals play a do-or-die game at 5 tomorrow. Also, Captain Kirk will go into space for real this morning, weather permitting. A Blue Origin New Shepard rocket is scheduled to lift off from Texas around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, carrying 90-year-old William Shatner and 3 other crew members for an 11-minute up-and-down trip to suborbital space.
Oh, good God.
This will be Blue Origin's second human spaceflight, coming 3 months after it successfully carried founder Jeff Bezos on its inaugural mission. A 72-year-old Bosnian man has built his wife a house that rotates 360 degrees, all so she could have the views that she wanted. Bohin Kusik designed and built the home from scratch despite not having any formal architectural or construction training.
Wow.
He built it on an electric platform that spins it around in a full circle in as fast as 22 seconds or as slow as 24 hours. Kusik's wife, Ljubika, complained that she wanted a more diversified view out the window, so he came up with a way to give it to her.
You've got it all right.
That's pretty innovative.
That's pretty awesome. I want one of those. Get that man out to Ohio.
He should patent his design.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
cool. He
cool.
makes some really good money right now.
Yeah. All right, well, that concludes your current events for today. So we're going to go ahead and take a break and get into our daily dose of inspiration. Today, we're going to be talking about how to talk yourself down when you are about to rage quit in your workspace. So this will be an interesting topic. You are listening to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. What?
Oh, my God.
What happened, Harmony?
Oh, my God. I forgot to put the coffee cup underneath the Keurig.
Oh, no.
Oh. I was wondering why it sounded a little extra trickly this morning. Oopsie. Now I have to empty the drip tray that's a splash tray.
Oh, no.
Oopsie.
Caught live on the radio, folks.
Yeah. Ouch, it's hot.
Oof. All right. Now we're going to take our break on the Wright Morning Show. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Oh.
And now, another Hoganism with Chris Hogan. R.
And we're back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. All right, welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. We're going to get into our daily dose of inspiration, and today we're going to be talking about how to talk yourself down from rage quitting, specifically when we say rage quit, we mean quitting your job out of rage. So this article is written by Tracy Brower from fastcompany.com. Lately, stress is high and tempers can be short. So you may yeah. So you may find yourself at your wit's end, angry, upset, or ready to quit your job. But what may seem like a good idea in the moment may not be the best bet for the long term. Known as rage quitting, an impulsive decision to throw in the towel may not serve you well if you haven't considered what it will take to find something new, or if you give up more than what you have gained somewhere else. But when you feel as if you can't tolerate the challenges of your work and your colleagues, you've had it, so to speak, how do you find the calm you need to make a good decision? Brain science is helpful to understand. When you're steaming or triggered by something, your brain switches to a fight or flight response, and your amygdala. Yeah, that's the tongue twister.
It's your flight or fight receptor. It says, hey, something ain't
right. This is part of your brain responsible for automatic emotional and behavioral responses. When you're in the midst of an amygdala hijack, it overshadows the part of your brain that's responsible for regulating emotions and evaluating actions.
Somebody stole my amygdala. Bring it back.
In a state of great upset, you essentially have less access to your rational, logical thinking process. And if you take actions in that state, you're more likely to regret them because they will probably not be in your own long-term best interest based on the limitations of your thinking. So basically, the amygdala is responsible for very short-term thinking. But you can manage yourself, you can reflect on what's best, and you can take wise action. You just need a little know-how in order to put the approach into practice. So, has anybody can relate to this experience where they've felt like rage quitting?
Sometimes, not always.
See,
there's been times when I get a client that just kind of tests my
your nerve,
my very core.
Yeah.
Yes, not even a nerve. It's the very core, and it's like, really? Am I getting paid enough to take this? Do I really want to stick around? I don't know. So, yeah.
And see, for me, I'm a slow and thorough thinker, so it's pretty rare that I get into that rage quit moment. And even if I do get into that rage quit moment, I'm not convinced to act on anything in the immediate moment. I usually take, several days before I make a decision.
Yeah, I don't even do that. I just rage for like 30 seconds, a minute. I complain and crank for about maybe 5 minutes after that. And then I just continue to take my calls, and everything's fine. So, and it's rare that happens. It's rare.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Laughing Chipmunk? Can you relate to rage quit?
Coffee.
Yeah, because I did it once.
What happened, out of curiosity? I don't even know if I know about this.
No, well, you don't know about it because this is way before you were born.
Before your existence.
It was before I was married to your dad, too. No, when I was, probably about 18, 19, something like that, I got a job over at, it used to be Rack's Roast Beef. It was a rival of Arby's. And I only worked one day because the person that was training me apparently didn't know what the heck she was doing or how to do her job. And she didn't really know how to train me, so I didn't learn anything. And then it's like the manager kept coming out and, yelling at me for doing this wrong and doing that wrong. It's my first day on the job, And it's like, oh my God, give me a break. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done this.
Hmm.
Maybe if your person trained me right, maybe I'd be learning something and doing stuff right. And it's like, yeah, he was a few words I can't say on the radio.
Male
Yeah.
anatomy.
Yeah. And yeah, with a capital P too. So I just said, okay, heck with it. I'm done. I'm not doing this. So I went back home and I was scheduled to work the next day. And somebody called me up and they're like, "You're scheduled to work today. Are you coming in?" I said, "Nope." And they asked why. I told them. And I said, I'll bring in my uniform, but, and get my pay for that day. But other than that, I told them, to put it where the sun don't shine. So,
Nice.
yeah. And then after, not too long after that, Rax went out of business. So it's like good
I wonder
riddance.
why. I guess
Yeah,
their barbecue
that's
went
the
where
only
the sun don't shine.
that's the only time I've ever rage quit.
Put that
Really.
in your poop pipe and smoke it.
Yep.
I think I might have rage quit a couple of times as a child, but I don't know if I've ever done it as an adult before.
I don't remember you rage quitting as a child.
I'm pretty sure I've done it a few times.
No, well, with certain programs and games you used to make or
Yeah, that's what I'm
things that you would
yeah.
do. Not
Yeah.
really technically the same.
Yeah,
and
not
more like
not
a childhood tantrum, not like an adult type of.
Yeah,
so
not
I wouldn't count that.
yeah, not a job thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that. That's just typical being a kid.
I've never rage quit at
Yeah.
a job before. Well, then again, this is the only paid job that I've had before. So, but even like volunteer positions and things like that, I haven't rage quitted there either. I've gotten mad at a couple of groups before, and I've eventually made the decision to leave them. But that decision took place over the period of thinking over it a few days. It wasn't a rage quit moment.
These are more like snap decisions that are just, you're so angry you can't see straight, and you're so much in the moment that you're just like, I quit. Ah!
Yeah.
And you like stomp out the door, and then the next day you're like, oh crap, what did I just do? So, yeah.
All right, so how do you check in with yourself to manage emotions? When you're on the edge and need to talk yourself back, the first thing to do, can you guess, Harmony?
Breathe.
I would
breathe,
say. Yes.
Breathe, because breathing is like essential. Get a grip.
Breathing can oxygenate your blood and help your brain stay open to more expansive thinking rather than a more narrow, threatened response. Taking a few deep breaths also buys you some time to think critically and consider how you want to react. In backing away from a quick fire and emotional response, you can focus on your thought process. The way we think about the situation can either escalate or de-escalate our frustration. Each of us is in charge of our emotions. Remind yourself to be patient and that you are capable of dealing with a tough situation with assertiveness and poise. Often when people act in a way that you find difficult, it is more about them than it is about you. The rude email you receive from a colleague may reflect the stress he is going through. Maybe the dressing down you received from a customer mirrors the pressure she is under at her company. These explanations don't make their behavior acceptable, but when you understand it, your own emotions can come under your control more effectively. When you are in the grip of intense emotion, it's also effective to give yourself a dose of natural scenery. Multiple studies show that access to nature can be restorative. So take a quick walk around the block, get a breath of fresh air through a window, or take a moment to admire the view outside. Any of these options can be effective.
if you can. Some people work where there are no windows.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might not be able to go outside.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, you're going to have to be creative. And in those events, you might want to, if you're a stone or crystal person, keep, a stone at your desk for cases like this, like a clear quartz or smoky quartz, just to hang on to. Or, at least see if you can go out for a 5-minute break somewhere outside to ground yourself.
Yeah, and if you're unable to do that, see if your workplace will allow you to have a plant or something at your workspace, or a little water fountain, or anything that reminds you of nature. Something like that could also help.
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure it's a real plant too, not an
Not a
artificial
fake
one.
one. Yeah, it's got to be, yeah, for sure.
Because plants are a great source of oxygen, and so is water fountains, sort of.
Mm. Tranquility.
Yeah, the noise can also help too of a water fountain. So, speaking of noise, music can have a similarly positive effect and give you a bit of calm, so you can reconsider your next best steps. Also, when you're so annoyed that you're thinking of quitting, it's important to take stock. Make time to reflect and think things through. This will also help you re-engage your more lucid, balanced thinking process, so the action you take is your best path forward. Here are a few questions to ask yourself. Is this an unusual situation, or is this a trend? If you've been struggling for years with a boss who lacks integrity, it may be time to take action. On the other hand, if a normally even-keeled coworker has just lost their cool with you, it may be an opportunity to forgive and move on. What role do you play in this situation? Consider your own responsibility in this circumstance and give thought on how you might improve your own skills or responses in order to contribute to a positive atmosphere or a solution to the problem. Are you overreacting? Also consider whether your response is in proportion to the issue. Sometimes your own challenges outside of work can shorten your fuse. If you're in the middle of a move, the small glitch at work may upset you more than it normally would. Or if you're working through a tough time with your partner, it can color your perspectives about the person at work who doesn't seem to be responding quickly enough. Even getting too little sleep can make you more likely to experience anger. Maintain your perspective by understanding how your broader context may be coloring your response. Will this matter in the long term? While things can seem monumental in the moment, it's helpful to consider whether they will matter tomorrow or the next week or the next year. Expanding the time frame can remind you that the issue may not be as significant as it seems and give you permission to set it aside. Can you influence the situation? Another helpful consideration is your own degree of influence. If the source of your frustration is a systemic issue over which you have little control, such as a toxic culture, leadership team that lacks respect for employees, and so on, it might make sense to move on. But if the issue is something on which you have a positive impact by recommending changes or modeling positive behaviors, the company can surely benefit from your endurance. If you do decide that quitting is your best course of action, here's a few additional questions to ask yourself. Can you afford to quit? Even the most attractive candidate in today's hot job market will require time to find something new, so ensure you have enough financial runway to find a new position. May I remind you also that there is a such thing as being overqualified. So the most attractive person in a hot job market may be turned down for being overqualified.
Yeah, so you mean if I'm say CEO and, I'm not finding nothing, McDonald's isn't going to hire me.
Yeah. What will you lose by quitting? Even when things aren't ideal in your current job, give thought to all you already accomplished. Perhaps you build a strong internal network that sets you up for your next promotion. Or maybe you are a great fit with the company's overall culture. Starting something new will require you to relearn and restart, so ensure that you've given your best effort at your current role before you decide to give it up. And why did you start this job to begin with? Remember your rationale for taking the current role. Fulfilling work, great pay, and growth opportunities are examples. Are there still things about it or about the company that represent these positive possibilities? If so, you may want to stick around a little bit longer. Any thoughts before we get into... Oh, now they got me on a paywall, so I can't I can't access the take action section of the article.
Take action. One comment. Get a grip.
Yeah.
Don't lose your cool. Go over all the above steps, and if it fails, then, reevaluate what you're doing and where you're at and why you're there. And if it's a repetitive thing, then definitely reevaluate, and, maybe it's time to start putting resumes and applications in at other places.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, check in with yourself. And remember, kids, what is anger? Nothing more than fear, our favorite word. So for the most part, check in with, why you're angry. We're only in control of ourselves, bosses, employees, etc. So everybody's got their own kind of way of handling stuff. But if somebody's all jacked out of shape, there's no reason for you to be, even if they're trying to come at you with it. Yeah, unless you've actually done something to cost your company. Then it might be a little different. But no, even then you should still be presented with calm and rational instead of somebody coming in and screaming at you.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Any final thoughts, Laughing Chipmunk?
No, not really. I'm just like really tired.
Well, we'll let you...
I'm listening more than actually focusing.
I used the last of my coffee creamer, actually coffee syrup. So, oops.
Ooh.
No more.
All right, well, we are going to go ahead and take our next break. When we come back, it is Wright State Wednesday, so we're going to be covering the latest happenings around campus. Usually, Jamie from the Guardian Media Group is here on Wednesdays, but she had a meeting at 9:30 and could not join us today, but she said she'll be back next week. We will return in just a couple of minutes on WWSU 106.9.
And now, another Hoganism with
Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. It is Wright State Wednesday, and we're going to get into some articles from the Guardian Media Group and the Wright State Newsroom. So Wright State is using higher ed relief funds for a vaccine incentive program. This is written by Jamie Naylor. Wright State University spends higher education relief funds on COVID-19 vaccine incentive programs to boost vaccination status on campus. As COVID case numbers fluctuate on campus and rise in the greater Dayton area, Wright State plans to instate a COVID-19 vaccine incentive program. The program is aimed at boosting COVID vaccine data collection and vaccine status on campus, as the university currently does not have a mandatory testing or coronavirus vaccine program. Plans to instill these measures are underway for spring of 2022. Taking place between September 14th and November 22nd, the program includes a prize contest for students, staff, and faculty who upload their COVID vaccine documentation to the MedProctor website. Those who enter the contest must have received at least one dose of any of the Food and Drug Administration approved COVID vaccines, according to the participation rules. According to the contest webpage, prizes for students range from a $2,500 Visa gift card to use of a Nutter Center box. Faculty and staff prizes also feature monetary winnings as well as 8 hours of vacation time. Interesting.
Yeah, nice cookie there.
Additionally, the university began a marketing campaign to advertise the program to the campus community. According to Wright State Communication Director Sas Bogas, the university is using around $15,000 of HERF COVID relief funds to pay for the program. Provided by the U.S. Department of Education, these funds are to help universities cover COVID-related costs. According to the American Rescue Plan of 2021, institutions of higher education can use their grants to cover costs associated with coronavirus, as well as provide financial aid to students. Wright State is not the only public university in Ohio with a vaccine incentive program. Ohio University is also running one. OU's COVID vaccine mandate takes effect on November 15th. Their incentive program encourages campus members to receive at least one dose of the vaccine before the deadline. The institution's program includes housing and dining scholarships for students and $100 cash payments for employees. The Guardian reached out to OU regarding the cost and effectiveness of their vaccine program, but did not receive a response. So interesting. We'll see how this program goes. Let's see here. The Wright State women's volleyball team is ready to bounce back after close losses. This is written by Noah Kindig. It was a very busy week for Wright State University volleyball, going 2-1 in conference play in a 5-day stretch. The week started with a 5-set thriller against Milwaukee at home, with the Raiders losing the decisive set 5 after going 2-0 up in sets. They responded with 2 quick sweeps to even out their conference record, scoring 3-0 against Green Bay and 3-0 against Youngstown for a 2-2 HL record. Even though the team had an undefeated conference season in the spring, losing 2 close matches against Northern Kentucky and MKE was almost expected and hasn't phased the team. This season, our expectations are a bit different than in the spring, Lainey Stevenson, the starting setter for the team, said. Teams are just as good, if not better, than 3 months ago, and everyone is going to put up a better match than in the spring. For Wright State fans who watched the team go undefeated last year, it was a reality check to see 2 losses on the schedule. But the two matches were extremely close and both just slipped out of the Raiders' grasp. Both matches went all the way to 5 sets and seemed like a coin toss who came out on top. Especially against teams like NKU and MKE who always have a strong showing in volleyball, losses can't put the team into a slump. Last year we worked really hard to get this number 1 seed, and now we have to go out there and prove that we've earned it, Ellie Raskab, a defensive specialist for the team, said. Our backs are going to be against the wall, but we need to be able to shoot ourselves off of it. There will most likely be another loss in the season for the team, but it's important to be realistic in order for the team to rebound. It would be great to go undefeated like last year, but we got to be realistic. They're a good team, they're respective, and it's okay to lose if we left everything we have on the court. You can read more about this at the Wright State Guardian's website, wsuguardian.com. A student organization has raised over $300 for Indigenous students. This is written by Katie Jones. On October 5th, students had the opportunity to buy an orange paper shirt from Wright State University's Association of Native American Students, ANAS. The funds from purchases raised money for the Native American Student Scholarship Fund. According to Orange Shirt Day's website, it was established in Canada on September 30th, 2013, as an opportunity to create meaningful discussion about the effects of residential schools and the legacy they have left behind. It very much got to a point where many kids were killed over the summer. A lot of bodies have been uncovered at these former residential schools, as well as basically an entire loss of culture and language, Ben Osborne, ANAS treasurer, said. Today's name comes from Phyllis Webstand, the owner of the original orange shirt. In her story on her website, she talks about her grandmother buying her a new outfit for school, including an orange shirt. When she arrived, she was stripped and her clothes were taken. Despite her tears and confusion, her clothes were never given back. The color orange has always reminded me of that and how my feelings didn't matter, how no one cared, and how I felt like I was worth nothing, Websten said in her story. All of us little children were crying and no one cared. So you can read more about the fundraiser at wsuguardian.com. But now we're going to turn it over to the Wright State newsroom. There is a solo exhibition by photographer Chris Graves on display at Stein Galleries. This is written by Bob Mihalik from the Wright State newsroom, excuse me. The Robert and Elaine Stein Galleries at Wright State University will host a solo exhibition by photographer Chris Graves examining Black representation in art and systemic racism. Graves' exhibition, titled Truth and Ruin, is on display from October 18th to December 3rd in the Stein Galleries at 160 Creative Arts Center. Graves will give an artist talk on Thursday, October 21st at 6 p.m. in the galleries with a reception to follow. The Stein Galleries, in collaboration with the Belingus Black Cultural Resources Center, will also host a closing reception and talk on Black political thought and anti-racism. The Civic Radical Tradition by Alex Zamelin on Thursday, December 2nd at 11:30 a.m. Zamelin's lecture will be held on WebEx and include a live Q&A session. The Stein Galleries will host a viewing party and reception with complimentary boxed lunches. Spaces limit. RSVP to attend the lecture at the gallery. There is a link at wright.campuslabs.com to do so. You can read more about the gallery at webapp2.wright.edu. Bosnian high school students in International Leadership Program make a stop at Wright State. This is written by Jim Hanna from the newsroom. A group of high school students from Bosnia and uh, Herzegovina visited Wright State University as part of an international youth leadership community building program. The September 29th stop was part of a 3-week visit to the Dayton area by 17 selected students and 3 high school teachers from the southeastern Europe country. The students toured Wright State's campus and met with admissions staff as well as representatives of the university's Center for International Education. It's a really big deal, said Michelle Streeter-Ferrari, director of UCIE. The students learned what it's like to be an international student at Wright State, what it takes to apply, and what the expectations are for college students here in the United States. The visit was funded by a grant from the U.S. Embassy in Sarajevo and supported by the Dayton Sister City Committee and the Conflict Intervention Dayton Mediation Center. Michelle Zaremba, manager of the Mediation Center, said the program is a leadership opportunity for the students and a development opportunity for the teachers. It's a chance for the kids to come together, learn from each other, experience each other differently, and see that they are more alike than they are different, she said. The whole goal is for these young people to go back to their communities and build projects that help lessen the divide in their community. You can read more about that at webapp2.wright.edu. Unfortunately, we are running out of time for the morning show here, so we are going to go ahead and start closing off for the day. So we have quite a few shows that you could check out at on WWSU Radio today. So be sure to check out Democracy Now! Coming up next from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on WWSU Radio. Join Amy Goodman and Juan Gonzalez for the current events of the day around the world, as well as special guest interviews. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., our general manager, Shay Neal, is hosting On the Horizon, which is a sports talk show. From 3 to 4 p.m., the Guardian Media Group, the student-run news organization on campus, will be hosting a podcast with the latest news and interviews on campus. Finally, from 4 to 6 p.m. today is David Webb's Dayton Scene radio show. So they cover the funk music capital of the country, Dayton, Ohio. They bring in some local artists. They play some really cool funk music. So get up and dance a little bit to some funk tonight. So this has been the Wright Morning Show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Wright Morning Show this morning. We are here every Tuesday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WWSU Radio. Also be sure to check out Coaches and Coffee Morning Show every Monday morning from 8:30 to 10 a.m. Though they will not be doing a show this coming Monday because Parker Testa, the host, will be out of town. With that being said, thank you, Lafik Chumong. Thank you, Harmony, for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And
thank you.
Everybody have a great day. We will see you back tomorrow morning on WWSU 106.9 FM, Fairborn, Dayton.
You are now listening to WWSU